Morning, everybody. So today we're going to talk about rewriting equations and formulas. Okay, so an equation that has two or more variables is called a literal equation. If you want to rewrite a literal equation, you can solve for one or more of the variables in terms of the other variables. So what does that mean? So like if I look at this one, it says solve the equation for y, and it's 2y plus 5x equals 6. So I have two variables in this thing, and I want to solve for the y, which means I need to get y all by itself. So first thing I need to get rid of is these x's here. So I'm just going to subtract 5x from both sides, just like I would normally. And so I would get 2y equals negative 5x plus 6. Okay, now I need to divide by 2 because I don't want to know what 2y is. I want to know what y is. So I'm going to divide by 2. That's going to cancel those. It's going to leave me with a y equals. So this is negative 5 divided by 2 x plus. Now remember, this is also divided by 2, so 6 divided by 2 is 3. And there you go. I've solved for y. And I don't get an answer. I don't get, y is 10. I get an equation. Okay, so there's a couple of problems here. I'd like you to pause this video, write these two problems down, and solve them for y, and then jump back on here and see what you get. Okay, so we're solving for y, which means on this one I need to get rid of this x, so I'm going to add x to both sides. So I get 5y equals x plus 10. Okay, now I'm going to divide by 5 to get the y by itself. Okay, so this is just y right here. Now this gets a little tricky for people. X divided by 5, that's 1/5 x. Okay, you can just put x over 5 if you want, but properly, and that didn't come out very well, so we're going to go ahead and rewrite that. 1/5 x, and then plus 10 divided by 5 is 2, so I need a plus 2 on there. So you should have got y equals 1/5 x plus 2. Now over here, as I solve for y, I'm going to get rid of these x's, so I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides. And here's the thing, is I always like to have the variable I'm solving for on the left, so I'm going to move my 3y to the left, and I'm going to put all this other stuff on the right side. So this is negative 6x plus 12. Okay? So now I'm going to divide by 3 to get the y by itself. So negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2x, and then 12 divided by 3 is 4. Negative 2x plus 4. Okay, hopefully you got both of those. All right, the formula for surface area of a cone is S equals pi r squared plus pi r L. That's a script L right there. It kind of looks like a long E. Solve the formula for the slant height L. Okay, so we need to get this L all by itself. So we're going to start out, I'm going to rewrite this equation. So it's pi r squared plus pi r L. It's supposed to be a cursive L. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move this stuff over here. So I'm going to subtract pi r squared from both sides. So I'm going to get S minus pi r squared equals pi r L. Okay, next step. This is all multiplication here. I want to get L by itself, so I'm going to divide by the pi and the r. And I'm going to divide this side by pi and r. Okay, so this cancels out, this cancels out. I'm left with L equals S minus pi r squared over pi r. you can just leave it that way. You don't need to simplify it any more than that. There you go. If you can do that one, you can do almost any one. Okay, so here's a couple of problems. There's 3 of them. Area of a rectangle, area equals base times height. Notice the B is green, so you're going to solve for the B. Simple interest, I equals PRT, so interest is principal times rate times time. You're going to solve for the P. Down here, the surface area of a cylinder is S equals 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. So you're going to solve for the h. So take a couple minutes, pause the video, write these equations down, solve for the green variables. Then jump back on here and check your answers. Okay, this one's super easy. I just got to divide, I got to get rid of that h. So I'm going to divide both sides by h. Okay, so the h's go away and I get b equals a divided by h. And I'm done. Can't go any further than that. Okay, over here, I equals PRT. This is another pretty easy one. I'm multiplying by r and t, so I'm just going to divide by r and t to get rid of them on both sides. So the r and t are going to cancel out here. I'm going to have a p equals I divided by rt. And you're done. Okay, this is the one that's a little trickier. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract this 2 pi r squared from both sides. Okay, so I'm going to get s minus 2 pi r squared is going to equal 2 pi r h. Now I got to get h by itself, so I got to get rid of this 2 pi r, which that's just, these are all multiplications, so I'm going to undo those with division. So I'm going to divide by 2 pi r h, but I got to do unto one side as I do unto the other, right? So all this stuff cancels out. I'm left with h on the right-hand side. And I'm going to get s minus 2 pi r squared over 2 pi r. Now you could rewrite this. Some people would have you rewrite this and simplify it a little bit. You could say, well, this is s over 2 pi r. Now the 2 will cancel the 2, the pi will cancel the pi, the r will cancel one of the r's and just leave you with minus r like that. I don't think you really need to do that extra step. I would just leave it like this. But this is the same thing. Okay, solve the temperature formula for F. So this equation right here is the equation that relates Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay, so if I had, remember, water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. It also freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. So if I were to put 32 degrees Fahrenheit in here, that'd be 32 minus 32 would be 0, times 5/9 would be 0. That would equal, C would equal 0. So those are the same right there. So, but I want to solve this for F. This would be an equation where, hey, you know what the temperature is in Fahrenheit, what is it in Celsius? So I want the equation where I know what it is in Celsius, what is it in Fahrenheit? Okay, so I got to get F by itself. So here's what I got to do. See this is multiplication, division, and then I've got parentheses and I've got the subtraction here. I got to get rid of this first. Okay, so I can do this in 1 or 2 steps. It doesn't matter. You know, I could take this whole thing, both sides of this equation, and I could multiply it by 9 because that would cancel this out. And I would get 9c equals 5 times F minus 32. And then I could divide by 5 to get rid of the 5. Okay, so now I'm going to get F minus 32 is going to equal, because these are going to cancel out, 9/5 C. And then it's easy, I just add 32 to both sides. And F equals 9/5 C plus 32. I can do this in one step or two steps if I wanted to. I can instead of just by multiplying by 9 and then dividing by 5, I can just do it at the same time by multiplying by 9/5. Just take this fraction, flip it upside down, and multiply it. Okay. So, which has the greater temperature? So we've got the sun here is at 11,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and lightning is at 30,000 degrees Celsius. So here's what we can do. We've got this equation right here. We could plug 30,000 degrees Celsius in here and see what that comes out to in Fahrenheit. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go, well, F equals 9/5 times 30,000 plus 32. Yikes. Okay, so a little math in my head here. I can do 30,000 divided by 5. That'll be easier to do first. So that would be 9 times 6,000 plus 32. 9 times 6,000 is 54,000 plus 32. So F is 54,032 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, that's way hotter than the sun, which is only 11,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So which has the greater temperature? Lightning is hotter. A lot hotter. Okay. I got one for here to try here on your own. So, room temperature is considered to be 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Suppose the temperature is 23 degrees Celsius. Is this greater than or less than room temperature? So you're going to use this formula right here again. Okay, so go ahead and write that formula down. And give that a try. See which one's warmer. Then jump back on here, pause the video, jump back on here, and compare your answer. Okay, so the easiest way to do this is going to be to take 23 and plug it in right here. So F is going to be 9/5 times 23 plus 32. Okay, so let's see. 23 times 9, should have brought a calculator today, that's 27, 18, that's 207. Divided by 5. So 5 will go into 24 times. 5 will go into 7 once. And that leaves 2 left over. So that's 41.4. So F is going to be 41.4 plus 32. So F is 73.4 degrees. Okay, so 23 degrees Celsius is just a little bit more than 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So, yeah, the temperature is a little greater than room temperature. Hopefully you got that. Okay, so here's your assignment. You're going to get to do today numbers 1 through 26, all of them today. Okay, so give that a stab, and I will see you in class.